See, go to Google. You are journalists. Why don't you Google names? Google Victor Mbarica. Google those other people that are here trying to claim that they are big men. The fact that you have a government appointment does not make you God.
And Prof, you also agree with me that the professors are good in the sense that if they were not good, some of the students that have been trained and have gone to the diaspora, they are taught in their badges abroad.
That the professors are not good. You are the one putting that in my mouth. All I'm saying is that just as I respect them, they owe me respect. They should not try to treat me anyhow just because the government says that they are a mentor. You are saying that I'm saying that they are not good. I'm trying to say that because they have disrespected me, they have. You have never heard me in the media proud about my accomplishments. People talk about it. This is the first time on the media I talk about my accomplishments. Why should I not talk about my accomplishments? Where you have people that academically are boys next to me, are girls next to me, trying to treat me like I'm some small person just because there are some laws in Cameroon that they are mentors. That's not how mentoring takes place. It must be mutual respect, first of all. Look at the administrators I have at my school. We are not a joking school. Professor Jean-Emmanuel Pondi, who recently retired. Professor Emmanuel Tonien, who is the new Vice Chancellor. Professor Charles Awono, who is the former Vice Chancellor, the former Director of Polytechnic. Professor Biban Sami Chumbo, who is a household name, has been rector at several big universities in this country. ICE University, we are not here to joke. These are people that work for me. And so this, we have never had any issue with any academic institution or any academician like we've had with these people. We are talking about 2 or 3 people at Boya. Because a lot of times people are thinking there are many people. We are talking about 2 or 3 people.
Let me come in. They're talking about the Senate because they said they had the 101st meeting of the Senate resolution where they rejected the recognition of PhD.
Nonsense.
From 2016 to
Nonsense.
2023.
Nonsense.
So it's the Senate. They're not talking
Nonsense. 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 That Senate was set up and it leaked out how the authorities of University of Boya went behind to convince the Senate on how to vote on that matter, how to convince the Senate on how to vote on that matter, and the Senate followed them. Nonsense. What Senate? Senate.
Welcome back, viewers of Crossviews. Thank you so very much for being there with us watching the dial. This time, I want to begin with you, Kikishi Kenneth. You listened to that video. First of all, let me thank our colleagues, and maybe sister media, my media prime, for doing that interview that they decided to send to us for us to use. Thank you so very much, Leonard. Kikishi Kenneth, what's your take about what you got from that outing? Let us start with the letter from the Vice Chancellor, who is making the ICT University to understand that they can't go into business with a PhD that they may not agree on. And now this kind of outing.
Mr. Mambo, mentoring the university is like, I am a Catholic Christian. I was born and somebody had to baptize me as my godfather. And along the way, as I proceed, even as I get married, I had to have a godfather. Somebody who will mentor me spiritually. And so that is the role of the university when we talk about mentorship. A parent or a godfather in terms of academic issues and values. And in line with our academic standards, it has been ascribed that government universities or state universities have to mentor private universities to ensure the standards are respected. Professor Mbarica happens to be uh, my schoolmate, my classmate sometime in secondary school in Yaoundé College de l'Application. Very intelligent and from a very humble background. And from his very background, the verbosity that we see cannot be ascribed to his background. But you can understand that from the way he articulates what the problematic. There's some frustration based on the mentorship role and standard that are ascribed to mentoring universities or private universities. And so they should not look at it as somebody who's arrogant in his outing, but rather you measure the frustration. And this frustration comes because some sometime back. I'm coming, Mr. Moderator. I'm coming to get into your answer. Sometimes back, we got a lot of disappointments based on the fact that students from his university had issues abroad, and when you measure the degree of contentment and the relationship that governs mentorship with universities, it can lead to this kind of frustration where he speaks volumes of disappointment based on whether administrative derivatives or the personality cults that governs the relationship between the mentor and the mentee. Now, it is clear that he might have been so outspoken, but there are other universities, private universities, that equally have the same resentment, that are equally disturbed about the relationship with the public universities on the mentorship agenda. And the fact that this young guy has for the past years graduated several thousands of students who today maybe even trying to who are disappointed not with the mentors, with the mentoring university, but with him, disagreements that they have had or disappointments that they have had getting into furthering their studies elsewhere. You can easily understand why he will be pouring venom at his mentor university, the University of Boya. But let's get back to the facts or the crux of the matter. It is indicated, it's a systemic issue, not only with the ICT university, but with other universities that may not have had the courage to actually speak out volumes of their disappointment about the mentorship program of state universities to private universities. And it is coming at a time when the universality and the standardization of education is at the forefront. But we are at a level where the world has become a global village, and ICT University one is a technological university that has come with that. One of those universities that come with ICTs, and it is evident by the fact that the curricula of universities now are exposed for every public and for all other outstanding universities to see. And a mentoring university is, as a godfather university, defends the interests of the. And so if at this stage we find overlapping understanding, it is clear that the definition of a mentor has not actually been effectively put in place. Because a mentor means that as a godfather, if he was in the church, we talk of spiritual mentoring. That if I am deviating, if there's any deviant behavior, then we have not had issues of contradiction from the mentor university, which is the University of Boya versus ICT University. So, if today we have an issue based on the problematic that's coming up, we first have to ask ourselves: year one, they mentored this university yet through the mentor. How accountable can you be today stand to say that based on this deviance, there is a problematic with ICT universities? We have not had it in the past. So we start.
No, but the way he spoke and in other videos, it's like there are serious problems that have been in the past, even with other mentee universities. But it's like exactly now it has just come up like this, which shows that there are a lot of problems with the mentorship and maybe some other big. My problem now is if the Vice Chancellor of the University of Boya is making it clear that their agreement does not extend for them to supervise their PhD. I don't know. How do you size up the... Okay, let me...
No. What I was going to say is this. In every partnership agreement, there are terms of references.
Yes.
Except Professor Bariko has been insane. There should be an outline definition of an agreement binding, an MOU binding the two universities as far as mentorship is concerned. If he has gone out of the MOU, Professor Horace will simply come back to say that no, based on the terms of reference of this agreement, the PhD mentorship was not part of it. And that would justify.
And that's what he did in his out in the letter. That
thank you. Yep. So it would therefore mean that Professor Barika Victor failed to, in his engagement with the university, to understand, or that the definitions of the partnership and mentorship were not spelled out stricto sensu for understanding of both parties, or you want to get it well, that there's a violation in the agreement or in the MOU that governs.
Or maybe there's something in the background that maybe the ICT university wanted to come in or some other negotiation, but it did not really work.
And we may not be limited only to the ICT universities. The University of Buea mentors several private universities, Buea and Abuja. And so our journalistic investigative manner would warrant that we go even beyond the ICT universities to other universities that have mentorship agreements with the University of Buea to find out this, the terms of reference, whether it is at a postgraduate or whatever, and they analyze it all together to understand the mentorship agreements that the state of Cameroon has initiated with private and public universities.
Okay, let me get now to Philippa Tabon. Looking at this outing, it is clear that there is some misunderstanding somewhere. We are looking first of all the letter of the Vice Chancellor, and when the letter came out, it makes the ICT University to understand they can't do that because it's not in the agreement. Secondly, later on, the Minister of Higher Education, Professor Ndongo, came out with his own letter trying to make the ICT University understand that maybe they are wrong. But now, if we look at what is happening, do you see some hidden agenda in the whole thing? Because there are some people who feel like Professor Barika cannot just come up and start shouting like that when maybe so many things have not been happening in the background.
No, thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Yeah.
I will begin by answering your question.
Okay.
There is nothing in the background. The way I look at it, sincerely speaking, there's nothing in the background. Actually, the declarations of the University of Buea was very clear. There's a term of contract between the University of Buea and ICT University. The mentorship terms are very, very clear. If you look at what even the minister later on published, the University of Buea wrote to the different rectors of ICT universities severally to inform them that, look, we are not mentoring you people on PhD programs. They wrote reminders over and over. And what else can you do? than to come out in the open. So what Prof. Horace did was perfect. Actually, he's in his role as the mentor of the Mentee University, which is just ICT. So Professor Barika, of course, we know him, we know his prowess. That is somebody who cannot be hidden. What he's done in the field of sciences is well known, well over, and that we can give him that. But you know, when it comes to universities, like everywhere in the world, the state where a university exists is the premier guarantor of the certificates and diplomas that are issued from that country. And the state of Cameroon, through the Ministry of Higher Education, and of course, you know, the different state universities. Because as a private university, just like everywhere in the world, you cannot issue out diplomas and degrees without the state giving its accord, validating your programs. And that's why every other state university, every other private university rather, needs a state university to be its mentor. And that's just where Prof is not seeing the fact that his colleague Professor Horace, no matter his 65 pages of CV he has, Prof. Horace is the Vice Chancellor of the Mentor University. And so Prof. Horace deserves all the respect. Outside that, the text that governs universities in Cameroon, as far as the ICT University is concerned, is only guaranteed by the University of Buea and maybe other universities in Cameroon where he has signed a mentorship agreement.
He put up a worry there that the mentorship of Cameroon universities, maybe they are not the best because he's somebody who has traveled all over the world. And that is why maybe students here don't do well. What's your take about that?
Well, it's a bit sad. It's a bit sad for somebody like him who've had the experience of studying out of the country. The foundation, his foundation, Professor Barika's foundation is from Cameroon.
Yeah.
Like all of us who've been out of the country to study and come back, the foundation of this country. And I want to bet you, Mr. Moderator, Cameroonians out there, we excel. Everywhere we go, we are flying colors of the education system of this country. And that is what seemingly, I want to believe he has not forgotten, but seemingly he wants to forget, because he's a magnanimous somebody today, ICT University, and his prowess has made him a world figure, but he's forgotten his foundation. And the foundation is what we learned in our country at the basics. And that is why we keep telling people that we need to overhaul our educational system for Cameroon to become the new springboard of Africa. Because we cannot have leaders all over the world, and when we come back home, we have an educational system wherein we are still grappling. And so he has come back home. With all the world knowledge he has had, he's forgotten his foundation.
Okay, now let's forget about looking at him and what he said. Let's look at the reality. If we look at the students nowadays who come all from maybe state and private universities, okay, now if you look at the mentorship, do you really see his arguments right with the students we have around today?
No, the first thing I want to say is that his arguments when it comes to his PhD program are not right.
Let's first of all look his argument as maybe the way the mentor students, you know, in Cameroon, is not the best. With what we see physically, with what let's forget about their expression or their problem. What's your take about that?
I want to agree with you, but I want to say that his vision, the way he looks at the mentorship in Cameroon, actually, he's not the only private owned university in Cameroon.
Okay.
Let us come back to our little boy here. We have Hidmat Higher Education of Business Management Technology, which has produced so many beautiful guys out there. we have rims, we have this.
So many private
without any publicity, so to speak. Okay, we have so many private universities, but I can pick out a few within Boya whose products have had an opportunity to meet them on platforms like this and other platforms where we share academic discourse. I can pick out for me maybe Chitengma, Reims University, Himad. And when you look at these products from these universities, if you go to Bamenda, you're going to look at St. Louis, the Higher Institute of Polytechnic in Bamenda. Those are the guys who started the foundation of private education in this country, private university education in this country. But if you look at them, look at Institute Samba in Yaoundé, the products that they have produced, you will not see this. Because these are guys who stayed within the rules. The state defines the program. You prepare your curriculum, you bring to the state looks at it vis-a-vis what the state has and validates. And that's why ICT University in BSc, BA, whatever they produce, the state easily validates that. But again, let me come. You will remember that actually PhD programs in Cameroon were suspended for a certain number of years.
Just recently that they brought it again.
Yes, it's just coming
It's a
back.
limited number.
And now when you look at the period that the guys of ICT universities went further to do PhD programs and expecting the University of Boya to validate those programs. There, of course, prophecy is right. Say, hey, come on, man. Come on, gentlemen. Let us be very careful.
And maybe the problem should be
because if state, that's in all of this imbroglio that you hear in Mr. Moderator, that's where the problem is coming from.
And the university, if they don't have maybe those who can mentor, or department that can mentor PhD in that field, they can't do it, because if they don't have it, then it means they can't do it.
No, you need to have a terms of every contract, especially when it comes to academics. ICT must have presented their program to University of Boya. I want to believe that is what was done. And University of Boya will look at it. If you have a PhD program, tell you, hey guy, we can't mentor you people as far as PhD programs are concerned. But if you come to masters, HND, BSA, BSc, BA, we can follow those programs up. Those should be spelled out. Unfortunately, we've not had the opportunity. But if you listen, if you read through the minister's communique, Professor Famendogo, he spelled it out on several occasions. The University of Boya wrote back to ICT, say, hey guys, what's happening here? This is not part of our deal. Unfortunately, we've not had the opportunity to read through this contract.
Yes, because of the time. Okay, let me come to you, Sinjo Armstrong. If you look at the product of the University of Boya, we know very well that out there they have been doing very well. We know so many students that and so many awards that the University of Boya has. Now, if you look at the outing of Professor Mbarika and what we know about the University of Boya, how do you weigh this?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Yeah, we are not saying the university is so perfect.
Yeah.
But we are looking at the way he sized up the University of Boya and the relationship with other universities, especially the ICT University, and the mentorship, and of which we know, like University of Boya, have been winning a lot of awards.
Yeah.
Because of maybe the students who have come out of.
Thank you very much for that question. You have to give me some time because there's a lot of clarification that we need to make our viewers understand.
Yeah.
First of all, when we talk about mentorship, what does it entail? Mentorship, in a simple operational understanding, it means a more experienced someone teaching someone who is less experienced. I will not say not experienced, because at least we are experienced to a certain level. Yeah, who is less experienced. That is the first thing that we need to understand about mentorship. If we get this simple definition clear, then we can begin to understand where is the problem and where is the solution. That is the first thing in our presentation. Now, moving forward, we have to understand that the law on higher education, there is no one who can operate at a higher education without the state being supervising that process. Remember, in our previous program on this platform, I told you that in every sector in this country, there is an invisible hand of the state. Did I?
Okay. You did so.
I did. And I even told you that even at the level of our culture and tradition, there is an invisible hand of the state. And we saw it at the crisis in Bangola. Good. So, I want our diasporans, I want Cameroonians to understand that there is nothing that you can do in this sector that you will not see the state there. That is the first thing. If you understand this, then we will avoid a lot of problem and confusion. You first understand your environment, then you go. Now, the mentorship agreement between the University of Boya and the Information Communication Technology, that is ICT University, had, I think, which I saw, that was on the signed, that was in 14th of March 2023. Now, one thing Cameroonians should understand here is that mentorship, as far as education is concerned in Cameroon, it has three major areas. The first area about mentorship, it cuts across all the higher education, whether you have a mentorship with university or whatever university, it's the same thing. Now, the first element there, mentorship on admission and records. Now, if you have chosen, if ICC have chosen the University of Boya as a mentored university, it means that the University of Boya, which is well experienced. Now, we have to understand here that the state has the human, the financial, and infrastructural material. That is why you see the issue of mentorship has come into play, because that's a fact. We might deny, but it's a fact. Okay. The state always have the means. Okay. Yeah, if the state does not have the means, they will go and borrow trillions of dollars. We have been seeing it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so they have that means to extend, and that is why the issue of mentorship came into place, because they realized that higher private institution that is being owned by individual, in most cases, they might not have the necessary resources, and they are just coming in new. So therefore, they don't have the experience, and that is why they make it their provision very possible that you have to attach to a state university for that mentorship. And now, like I was saying, coming back on the first point, which is admission and records. Yeah. If you are coming to a state university, the state university have to mentor you on admission and records, which means that they need to show you this is how admission are done. Mr. Moderator, you need to understand that each university, particularly those of the Anglo-Saxon university, they have admission policy. In Anglo-Saxon university, they will tell you that okay, they are more dealing on cutoff point, which is their policy in admission in various programs. They will tell you that in this particular program, this is a cutoff point. They will tell you that okay, to get into this particular programs, you require some to have passed some certain number,
25 points,
also certain subjects. Yes. You can't do ICT when you are not mathematics, physics. I think you should understand those are the policy that they have in place, and I think it's the same thing that obtained in Yoruba. Now going across the Mongo, I don't know how the policy, because I know, for example, maybe probably in University of Swa, those things are not respected. Mr. Kikishi, who studied in Yaoundé, you attest to that. They don't respect that, but that is the different policy. So now, when you have chosen a university for mentorship, you have to follow the admission procedure of that university. Remember, you're under mentorship, so you cannot be under mentorship and you are breaking in your own rules and regulation. It's problematic. So that is why The first thing, records, admission. Now, how do you admit students? They look at it. You have the university will have to explain to you, this is how we admit students. Now, in admitting students need to bring into their certificate. They look at the programs they are running. They tell you this is what you have to look at. So that is the first thing about mentorship, admission. And another point about mentorship that we need to understand, which is the same things that ICT got into engagement with University of Boya, is teaching. You have to understand that they will take you throughout the teaching process. They have to make sure that at the level of recruitment of faculties, at the level of recruitment of lecturers, in whatever the case, I'm saying faculties because Professor Victor Barika, he is talking of an American model of education that is offered to Cameroon, and in American model of education, they don't call lecturers that, they call lecturers that faculties. So I think we should understand that. So that I say what that they have to tell you that UP need to take you through the recruitment process of lecturers. You don't just go and pick any jack and Jill from the street who has a PhD to teach. You need to understand that before you have to teach in the university, at least a master's degree.
And you should be enrolled.
And you should have enrolled in PhD. So those are the things that your mentor university supervises you through. Not that because you are in a higher education, you just pick someone who has a master's degree to teach in a higher education. And I will not call it, but there's many higher education institutions in Cameroon who have 80% of their lecturers that are master degree holder. They are not even enrolled in a state university, or rather, they are not enrolled for PhD programs.
No, that's very true.
But that is the condition. Yeah. That is the condition for someone who holds a master degree to teach in a higher education. You must be enrolled into a PhD programs, and most of them they don't do that. And so the university, the mentor university need to see that in the process of recruiting lecturers, you follow this procedure. The university of the mentor university need to make sure that they vet some of those certificates that some of those lecturer comes for application to teach, because first they need to take it for verification to make sure that those certificate, the master they have, the PhD they have, is obtained or have been obtained in incredible university. Those are the things that the university look at. The teaching methodology and what not has to do about teaching. And from time to time, Mr. Moderator, the mentor university need to pass around, check on the teaching methodology. They need to help you to design course outline. There is a particular way to design course outline. It will make you to on evaluation. Those are all those things that have to do with mentoring. I think the last one is certification. As far as mentorship is concerned, certification. Now, at the end of the mentorship, when the student must have written the exams, they need to graduate. The next thing is that the mentee need to submit to the mentor university those who have passed the complete courses. Then now when you submit a transcript, you submit per the programs, the university or the mentor university sit in a senate. And in that senate, the mentee has a representative there in that senate. Each time the university is meeting in that senate, there is a representative from the mentee university who is meeting there to evaluate the student performance and to grade them. And one thing which I heard Professor Victor Baker making a mistake. You cannot be under mentorship. When you're under mentorship, you have to follow the model that your mentor university has adopted. You don't impose another foreign model. You don't say, okay, you are teaching an American model. Well, probably maybe the University of Boya is not teaching an American model. So when you go in for mentor, you should be able to keep aside another forum model that you have. Take what the mentee is giving you as a model and you follow that. Because when you look at the certification, when you look at the academic performance, it might, the model that Prof. Victor Berika is bringing might be different from that of the University of Boya. So that is the whole essence about mentorship. And now, I don't know if the ICT University has really been following these steps. That is why you see the letter of the Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education, in his response, said that the ministry has dispatched people to the field to be able to verify if all what the engagement that the ICT took with UB has been implemented. But I think that in my experience, Mr. Moderator, these things are always shared blames, because in that mentorship framework, there is usually an agreement between both parties. But most often, to be told, both parties do not meet up with their assignment. Because
if you say both parties,
if I say both parties do not meet up with the assignment,
what assignment?
What am I saying? The mentee university has obligation to implement. I mean, the mentee to implement some of those provision in this thing that they have to follow in teaching the teaching style, the recruitment process, and all those things. Right now, the mentor university most often hardly do not follow up to ensure that the mentee are implementing the exact.
But if they are the mentor, then means some follow-up is done, because now, if we understand that problem,
yes,
it shows that they are at the level of certification. Because we understand there are so many students who need this certification.
Yes.
That is where the problem is, and that's where the...
This is the problem with the certification which are going. The problem ICT University has is in twofold. Yes. The first is certification, yes, for students at the level of BSc, Masters, maybe probably MBA, yes, that they have, yes, yes, in 2017. Mm-hmm. You know, like Professor Barika said, the ICT has been operating for some time, read in 2017. They recently signed in 2023 mentorship framework, which means that they have been operating without no mentorship framework agreement. So now this is where the problem is now. Those who went through ICT from 2017, yeah, they don't have certificate. They don't have certificate because let me learn. The tricky thing about mentorship is that when you are an institution, you are only a training center. You are only a training center. Now the certificates are not given by the private university. Those certificates are issued by the mentor university, and there is nothing like a mentee university name mentioned on that certificate. Okay. So you understand why, and that is why. So those certificates. Let me just point out. Let me just land on that issue of certificate. The ICR.
And that's why the University of West careful, yes, because if they hold that certificate somewhere,
good, exactly. So now this is what Professor Hore said. That for the case that ICT is putting forth for the BSc in 2017 case. Now, one thing you need to understand that each mentee university, you pay 50,000 francs, yes, for each student, yes, that the university mentor. You pay 50,000 francs. And so the University of Boya said, okay, we have understood that in 2017 you have some students. Let's resolve this problem. These are the children that graduated from your institution. Bring this amount, the 50,000 francs. Let us clear this problem first, yes, and keep. Why the issue of the PhD, which is the problem, which another problem, yes, it's a big problem, because it's not a problem to look into, because it's not a problem to look at. Why? Because there is no private state university that they have been given the authorization to operate PhD programs. Those things have been done. Those things have been done by the state university. Okay. So I don't know how they intend to resolve that problem.
Yeah, if we follow up this critically, it's like giving the letter of the vice chancellor, it shows that they have been calling on him to come, let them have some understanding.
Yes.
That's where the problem is. Okay, let me come to you, Kikishi. Maybe you have your response, then we have the next video, then before we start analyzing. Maybe you were so worried that you wanted to respond on something before we have the next video.
The issues that we are discussing here are not peculiar to the University of Goya being a mentor to an institution like the ICT. It's about, let me first come by saying that the state of Cameroon has the primordial obligation to educate Cameroonians.
Yes.
And so every private stakeholder coming in is coming to complement what the state of Cameroon cannot make it when it comes to the educating our citizens. The issue, the point of contention here is not about ICT standardization and whatever relevance of the state. It is about the limitation of what the state of Cameroon has been offering in terms of the different courses. Private universities in Cameroon are brought in the innovations of professionalism in courses, which many state universities were not offering.
But they started doing now.
No, listen. They are doing, but they still have areas where they are not covering. And so the complementing role of the private sector was in the areas where the state universities are doing. There are courses that are offered in many private universities that the state of the university institutions, the state universities are just beginning just with a few professional courses. Now, what is the try of private universities? Their try is that you mentor us. As a mentor, these are the courses that you are not doing in your universities, that we do in our own universities. And so you are supposed to indicate to educational stakeholders around the world that these courses, you mentor me. There are courses that you do not offer in your own university, and I offer those courses. But you do not cover us as the mentor when it comes to those courses. So when these children, you have professional courses in ICT universities that are not that you cannot see them in state universities. But you mentor me, and when my students graduate with certification on this area, you are supposed to validate them in that, yes, because you are a mentor, you are not doing maybe, okay, let me just take any work example. Maybe you are not doing computer engineering in UB. Yeah. But you know that your mentor is doing those courses, and Cameroon needs it. Because we are innovative, we should be innovative in what we are talking about. Then you limit yourself to validating only the courses that university offers, or that university offers, which are in your university. So when a student graduates from IUCT University and says that he has done computer engineering, which is not done in UB, I'm not saying that it's not done, but I'm just giving an example. Yeah. UB will not validate it because they don't validate. The student get lost.
But how can they
it is a systematic problem that is not only limited to the university where Professor Barika is the board chair, but rather to other universities. And maybe he took courage to speak out, not only for the university, but to a systematic issue that devaluates other private universities. Now, most of the mentor universities, are state universities with traditional courses and not with innovative courses. The new technology or many other professional courses are not covered by by the state universities, which are ongoing in other universities. And so if somebody wants to defend his PhD in a course that UB do not offer, UB now stands out and throw out his mentor to the wild, or they don't recognize or validate.
But the question I wish to ask, how can you mentor a private university when you don't have the human resource? Because, for example, if you don't have the professors in ICT, how can they now assess new students?
Okay, now the first thing is you would like to know that the validation of even the exams within private universities is done by mental universities. It means that for every level of studies, once an examination is set, it is sent to the mentor university to approve it. And the results are sent back to that same mentor university to validate the results. So it is not a one man. It is a very professionally designed way, a very standardized way of certification that is done. Okay. There we don't have issues. But the issue is that these private universities have courses that most of the mentor universities are not offering, and they require that the mentor universities to approve and certify the courses. Okay. So the issue we have with IUC universities, most of their students that went out to further their studies, when they present a course that they did, this is what their certification is on this domain. You did not offer that domain, they were not recognized. They were rejected. Whereas it is that mentor university that had to indicate.
Yeah, that the students are.
Yes, that this mentor university offers this course, which we do not offering.
Okay. Let us, dear viewers, before I go to the other people here at the set, let us have the other outings of Professor Mbarika.
Side with us. What?
No, you coming here, Prof.
Yes.
How much is school fees at the ICT University?
It's about you got me on that. About 365,000 per semester, I believe.
Yeah,
so a student can study 2 or 3 semesters. It depends on them. We really run a very American system of education where you have a maximum of 6 years to finish your degree, but you can decide to do it fast, or you can decide to do it slowly. So we have 3 semesters.
If the University of Boya is asking just 50,000 francs from that amount, are they really correct?
Now, don't forget that is the same fee that we have been charging for 12 years. And we were on our own for 12 years until the University of Boya came in and they want to get into this. And if it was that, my issue is not how much money we get. You guys don't know about our other expenses. The issue is, why should a private university pay a state institution the same fees their own students at the state institution pay, and all they are trying to do is called a so-called mentoring? The mentoring as originally designed by the Cameroon government is not working. This is my message I'm trying to bring. The mentoring style Cameroon government has designed, and they can listen to me as a son of Cameroon that has gone around the world and accomplished in higher education. This mentoring style is not working. It is not giving private universities mentors. It is giving private universities tyrants that would be there to intimidate and scare local good people in Cameroon, trying to come up with private universities to fill in the gap that the government does not have. This is become a cash cow, a money-making thing for state institutions. But some of the state institutions are very fair. Some of them are very fair. It just happens that University of Boya is not one of the first state institutions. They are trying to use us as their way to make money and put money in some credit union that I don't even know what it has to do with the government.
Are you saying that money, the money you pay to the University of Boya, does it go to the private account? Is government money?
I will not go into that. I will not go into that. I leave that to the government. I'm not the one that decides what is happening with money going to where. But let me tell you that the way the Cameroon government originally designed the mentoring of private institutions is not working. The mentoring was to help private institutions become better in terms of quality. Now the mentoring has now turned into money-making deals.
Professor.
Money-making. Let me finish this, huh?
Okay.
This is important.
Okay.
The Cameroon government has to intervene on this in terms of policies. And the Cameroon government should not think that only people that are in the government know something about higher education. Some of us, we have proven ourselves with our degrees, our awards, our accomplishments internationally that we can contribute to this great country. It is not only people that are so-called connected. Many of these people having this position are people that have had connections with the government. Many of them can go to the presidency. Many of them can even scare you. We will tell the presidency to do this to you. It's nonsense. This thing is not working. It's a matter of people trying to be linked up with top people in government to intimidate private institutions just to get the money from private institutions. What work do they do to be getting 200 million? Oh no, you can be sure. I'm not paying that money. I'm not paying it.
Now, Prof, they said
They are not going to cheat us. To us, that man is trying to threaten me. Ngomo is trying to threaten Professor Barika. That's madness. He wants to threaten me.
he's a vice chancellor, right?
Oh, come on. I own a university. He's a vice chancellor. I hire vice chancellors. He's a vice chancellor. I hire them. And imagine, I hope the government will not accept such threats, which a man like that will make towards me, Professor Victor Barika, with my accomplishments. The government will look at this. I have a 65-page CV. I've never bragged about my accomplishments. But I'm doing this because of people like this that will come and make nonsense statements like this. Threatening me? Is he okay? He can threaten me. Tomorrow he will need a job from me. I will never need a job from him. He may need a job from me tomorrow. I will never need a job from him. He threatens me. So, and it's because of this police state approach where people think rather than mentoring, they should hover over people and threaten. That's the style. And don't only talk to me. I'm not the only one that has issues with that administration.
Welcome back, welcome viewers of Crossviews. We are on this platform discussing the saga between the University of Oyo and the ICT University. We are trying to analyze the situation, come up with some solution. We believe they are watching. Okay, let me come to you now, Filico Atabon. If you look at his outing, how do you read it? How do you want to analyze his outing about this problem?
I think for someone with his prowess, his reaction is uncalled for. He falls short of who he is. I think there's this saying that in every situation, keep a calm head. If you're angry, don't speak. If you are happy, don't speak. There is this thing that
but there are times it is said when you are pushed right to the wall, then you have to.
No, there is this thing that we learned in the university. It is called, I'm going to say it in French before coming to English. There's intellectual inquiet. Simply means in English, an uncultured intellectual. Your approach as an intellectual speaks volume. Your demeanor, the way you approach to everything that comes your way, speaks volume of who you are.
Well, it is out, and don't you think that
now, Mr. Moderator, I don't think that. This is a man to whom several correspondences were addressed. If you look at the periods of those correspondences, he had 2 other vice chancellors in his university, and not any kind of persons. We are talking of somebody
people
like
of dignity.
Yeah, people who have been in higher education in this country, who master the system.
We have Professor Pondi. We have Tonier.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So you look at his outing. Now, come on, man. Let us be honest with ourselves. In as much as we encourage what he's doing to educate us Cameroonians, our children, and even us, their fathers, but the outings are very, very uncalled for. With his progress, he was supposed to have a very calm mindset, even his approach. Now, this is somebody who is talking to journalists in his office. The approach was supposed to be different.
But he feels that he has been pushed by the letter, the outing of the Vice Chancellor.
Now, there's a way you can say it. You will not call Professor Ores that who is Ngomo. Come on. And he did not even say Mr. Ngomo, because if he had even put down Mr. there, it would have shown some respect. Because Prof. Horace is his elder brother. Yes. Professor Victor Barika is our mate in the university. He's older than me by at most 2 years.
Okay.
Yes. Prof is 71, 72. That's it. That's his age. If someone was in college building, I was in the same building Marwa. They were 2 years ahead of me in school. So at most he should be older than me by 2 years or more, but not more than 3 years. Then to call somebody like Professor Horace Ngomo, call him in his name, and the who is Ngomo. Of course, he's made the money and he's come back home. But let us be honest with ourselves. The fact that we've made money, we are on the same pair with our fathers, there is no way we should be disrespecting our elders. Now let us just come back to our African cultures and traditions.
Okay.
That's why I say his actions is simply acting like the uncultured intellectuals I was talking about, with all the brains and everything. What do you portray? What do you show to the public? His approach here is quite wrong. Very, very wrong. I was listening to somebody like him, with all his intelligence, have sat back and say, hey, come on, big brother. These are the terms of our contract. And I'm sending it back to you to review. And then look at what you're doing to me. Is it fair? But there's also one issue he raised, which I want to
Yes, the issues that he raised.
Yes, there are issues he raised that we need to talk about. Because you are a mentor doesn't mean you should kill me. No, come on. If you are a mentor and you kill your mentee, you fail in your role as a mentor. Actually, your role as a mentor is to ensure that that word in French is parrainage. Il y a les établissements de l'État qui parrainent les institutions privées. It's parrainage. Now, when you bring in English as you, which is a mentorship, actually in French is more understood, because il y a le mentor in French, qui n'est pas le parrain, which is not the and this is the problem in Cameroon, because we are working in two systems and we use words, and in the other system it means something else, and in the other system is telling something else, and this is what is killing this country. Until we define ourselves, we spell it clearly. Let the English system be purely the English system. This mix-up is killing this country every day. And that's what is causing this problem. In French, they call it parrainage. And parrainage is kind of godfatherliness, okay. What Mr. Kikishi was saying, which is quite different from being a mentor. And my brother simply sent you defined mentorship, stricto sensu of the English way of it. You lord over him, which is what he was decrying. But a godfather is a teacher, is a guide. And that's what parrainage in French means. Or if you move with French mentor, you fall back in the English system mentorship. He keeps you under his wings. He tells you what to do. He defines what you have to do, because the aim is to ensure that you become like him. All the parrainage is to guide you to become bigger and fly higher. Coaching. Thank you, my brother. That's just it. And that's the mix-up we have in this country. And it's so sad. We need to go back to the drawing board, but again, let us come back to our brother, Professor Victor, with all his magnanimity, to tell him that, hey man, come on. You're bigger than this thing. He owes Professor Horace Ngomo, I'm not going to mix my words. He owes Professor Horace Ngomo an apology. And to all the University of Boya board, he owes them an apology.
Okay. Let me have a reaction from Single Armstrong. Then I read some maybe messages that have come here. Yeah. Let me have your reaction to his outing. How do you size up his outing and maybe the points he has made?
Yes, in the same line which I said, first, Professor Victor Birika, someone which I respect so much because of his academic accomplishments. Yes, he talked about his 5-page CV, which I spent the whole night going through that CV. Yes, I read it. I read it because sometimes when you want to comment on issue like this, it is very important that you try to read it. Unfortunately, I did not lay my hand on that of Professor Horace Manga, so which I would have also gone through to understand the debate. Of course, to be told, highly esteemed Professor Victor Barika has a well-established academic prowess, which we must congratulate him. But again, sometimes, like he said in this platform, promotion is very, very important. Yeah, because one thing which I understand from Professor Victor Barika outing is that he needs to master the media. Yeah, he needs to get counsel each time I want to go to the media. You know, some of us who are sitting here today, it took us a lot of time to be able to understand that when you're on media, you need to sift your words. You need to be very, very careful the way you speak.
All because the time when he's on media,
because sometimes
that's his way of talking.
No, Professor Victor Birika, Barika. This is very rare of him. He himself know. He said it that this is a very rare situation of him that he has come out like this. I understand that he's upset, he's angry with the whole kangaroo system which has been in place. I understand. So when that system is there, it's difficult to really say true. Yes, in as much I'm hitting hard on him, he has some certain values which is good, which we must point out. Now back to that is his video that we just watched. He makes some statement regarding to finance. That he was not going to pay the money which the University of Boya is demanding him. I think I've gone through the mentorship framework he had with the University of Boya. I've read it through 3 times to really understand it. And there were some points that I could not understand. I have to call some people to really understand it very well. He's aware of that money in his mentorship framework. Yeah. You know, there is a mentorship framework, there is a specific mentorship agreement that comes along that. So he's aware. For him now to start bragging that he's not going to pay it, I find it very disturbing.
Yeah.
See, once you have made yourself available for university for a state university to mentor you, like I said from the beginning, you need to understand that the students are not your students. The students are not your students. You are just an institution to train. It is the same thing that we have in our secondary and high school that we have around. Those who own secondary and high school, they don't issue certificate to their student, right?
The GC
board issue it.
Yeah.
So it is the same thing. The GC board issues some of those the certificates. So the GC board, they are their students. They are using it as an institution, a platform to train some of those students and give it back to them to evaluate. It is what does evaluation. It's the same thing with mentorship. The mentor university evaluates those students. Though they allow you to do the evaluation, but they supervise it because they are teaching you. Yeah, they are teaching you. So for Prof. Barika to say he's not going to pay that 50,000 francs, I find it very disturbing because, like I said, every student that a mentee has, you are supposed to pay a required state fee, which is 50,000 francs. And mind you, Mr. Moderator, even state university that offer professional programs, 1 million, you owe a year 1,050,000 francs, 750,000 francs, 650,000 francs, 550,000 francs. Where do you think that 50,000 francs is going to?
Pay for their
Good. So you weigh additional 50,000 francs there. That 50,000 francs is going to the state university. The rest, the rest is going to the 50,000 francs go to Yaoundé. The rest is managed by the university. So even the University of Boya pays that 50,000 francs for programs that the university organize, professional programs. So it is out of place for Professor Victor Barika to say that he's not going to pay that money. That is a policy that even the University of Boya aligns to that policy.
So you bring me now to the aspect of connection here.
Yes.
Because he talks of connection, some of them feel that they have connection. And if you follow before this problem, we'll realize that there's a complaint also that whenever they call him or there's a problem, he feels that he has connections to. So this has always brought a problem between the University of Boya and the ICT University.
Of course,
so how do you size up this connection kind of thing?
You know, Professor Horace Ngongo is a level-headed professor and VC, a no-nonsense professor and VC, which we respect so much. You know that by the time you move to Yaoundé to do whatever connection you are coming back with him, Professor Horace Mangangomo will present you the principles. This is what the document says. That is why you see it's very easy in Yaoundé, but when it comes down to Ibu, is a mental university, you find it very difficult. One thing we need to understand about bribery and corruption is that when bribery is taking place, there is no legal framework, there's no documentation. True.
How do you see both of them having connections? So do you see it? Who suffers? Because we understand from both parties they have connections.
I don't understand the connection.
Don't you see the students suffer?
The students are suffering. That's what we're saying. That's why I'm saying that Professor Victor relying on connection is failing, because now there might be connection, because why will even explain the fact that from 2017 he has been teaching. He has been teaching. He have been recruiting students, and the students don't have certificate. It shows that he did not align himself. He came back with a mentality of American model. So he refused to align in the system since 2017. So I will explain. In fact, it means that probably he had connection. Now, after that connection, what happened? The student don't have certificate. So when you start an institution like this, you rely on connection rather than following the laid down rules and regulations that guide the operation of your sector. You rely on connection. The tendency is that your students are going to suffer it. And mind you, the connection they has been having in Yaoundé, now that the Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education has dispatched a team from the ministry to move to his institution. Remember that some of those connections, there were no established framework signed there. Some of those things, some of those connections that we do, that money passes there, there is never no agreement that is signed, because you know. So at the end of the day, how is he going to defend himself? Because you will defend yourself. The minister will say these are the framework, these are the regulations.
Okay, this one say it is no arrogance. What we are witnessing is defensiveness in the face of legitimate criticism. Citizens are increasingly frustrated by the persistent abuse of power and administrative authority that continues to undermine progress in this country. Professor Barika's position is valid. A vice chancellor is fundamentally an appointed employee managing a state-owned institution. That role, while I'm trying to size up, yes. Okay. It's totally different from that of a private university founder. such as the proprietor of ICT International University, who assumes financial risk, mobilizes capital, creates jobs, and drives institutional vision through private initiative. The distinction is not about status, it is about ownership, accountability, and direct economic contribution. The deeper concern is systemic. Too often, public officials, particularly those entrusted with regulatory or executive authority, become bottlenecks rather than facilitators of development. Instead of enabling innovation, entrepreneurship, and foreign direct investment, they create layers of bureaucracy, opaque controls that discourage really long. Well, maybe this person is just the vice chancellor. One must ask, what measurable impact has he had on youth empowerment? How many sustainable employment pathways has he facilitated? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Okay. Then let me just take this one. The above letters you mentioned are coming from the minister, so I don't see any fault coming from either the University of Goya or the vice chancellor of University of Goya. Maybe Professor Mbarika has a personal problem with the vice chancellor and has used this opportunity to be ferocious and arrogant, which is going to open up some worms against him, as I have been reading from. Okay. It's also good to wait for some time or days to get the facts of the problem before we start. Okay. Let me just take a few again. This one says, if Professor Mbarika of the ICT University survives this storm with all his blunders, then there is truly administrative tolerance in Cameroon, as enshrined in the minister's response. Everyone is looking at Professor Mbarika's outburst, but nobody has yet to ask what was his reason for his outburst. Okay, don't say we judge people from their reactions, but fail to look at the action that caused the reaction. Okay. It says Newton's third law of motion: actions and reactions are equal but opposite. I think there are just too many. Okay, we shall be reading the others. Let me go through.
I just want to react
before I go.
Yes.
I think you should be the one.
Let me just react. You read a message there where one televiewers reacted that ICT is the international university. Well, we students of that university have been complaining that they have moved to university out of Cameroon, Africa, Europe, I mean America, and it is not recognized. And even you saw the American embassy has equally responded to indicate that ICT is not even, it does not even have a base in US, where Professor Victor Barika is claiming. And we need to understand here that, like I said, ICT is a training institution, and only the mentored university that issue a certificate makes your certificate valid. Yeah, we don't expect a government bilingual high school who teaches students to issue a certificate.
Okay, this one says, so every action there is equal opposite reaction. Professor Mbarika is a deeply frustrated investor, entrepreneur, private education promoter, and whose frustration should be founded on very severe stress from his business partners. Okay, the good news is that the battle is fought by people who claim to be Puritans. We are enjoying the movie. Okay, Then this was despite the action that must have promoted him to react in this, despite the actions that must have prompted him to react in this manner, his actions are dominated by emotions and subjectivity.
Thank you.
Reasoning and objectivity would have given better results. A man of his caliber was supposed to apply later. Okay. Then this one say, Barika seems to have been stung by gatekeepers of the system who collect rents for personal gains. Maybe he is tired of paying more rent without value being added to what he is paying. What he is paying for. He may be protesting on the Ngombo. Okay, he must be protesting on the Ngombo. They have held his neck and he is gasping for breath. Someone needs to believe the strangle hold on his neck by his former allies. Okay, let me just take this one. Okay, some of the reasons why the ICT University needs the university for legal backing and accreditation. As a private institution, ICT University requires a mentor university to provide the legal framework for its operation in Cameroon.
Thank you.
The document explicitly states that UB provides the legal basis for awarding degrees. Without this partnership, the BSc, MSc, and MBA degrees issued by the ICT University will not carry the same official weight or recognition from the state. Secondly, quality assurance and oversight. UB acts as a regulatory big brother, according to the notice. Experts from the University of Boya must examine and review the syllabuses of ICT University program. This oversight ensures that the curriculum meets the national standard for higher education, giving the public confidence in the quality of the training provided. Thirdly, institutional validation. Let me just read it because it comes from a professor. Institutional validation beyond just checking the paperwork. UB evaluates ICT University's infrastructure and academic staff strength. This validation from a prestigious state university confirms that ICT University has the physical and intellectual capacity to run the programs it offers. It's essentially a seal of approval that helps ICT University build its reputation. It's quite long. Maybe he was giving some guidelines. Let me just take assurance of official academic records. The document highlight, I suspect this lecturer should come maybe from the University of Boya. Assurance of official academic records. The document highlights that UB is responsible for producing the attestation of result and final transcript for graduates, because UB is the degree awarding body in this mentorship. ICT University students cannot officially graduate or receive their final recognized academic credentials without UB's processing and signature. The last one says national record. Okay, it shows that this lecturer has been following up and is trying to give us some guidelines on what we're supposed to do. Okay, you said you have some reaction before maybe I create them, because the few questions I have here is if we follow what he mentioned in his outing, it shows that there is a problem in the University of Boya, which tells that it's like there is a group of people who are instigating situations and they are united against the Vice Chancellor. It's like it's a problem, because what he said is the Senate that held was instigated by some people for it to hold to do some approval and so on. How do you see the administration? Do you see the kind of problems?
You see, in Professor Mbarika's outing, he's putting a lot of fire, and you can make guesswork that he has backing from some insiders in the University. That is evident by the manner in which he's talking. It's sure that there are some violations that the Senate can also identify that the administration has violated some rules based on the mentorship of the university.
But do you see a hand from the University of Boya who have given him some information that makes him not to retaliate?
That's just what I'm saying.
Okay.
I am saying that there are insiders who are also with him.
Okay.
From the manner in which he speaks, you can understand that they say there's no smoke without fire. Yeah. So within the system, there are people who can buy his version of the story. Now, I want to say here very clearly that several years ago, we did not have private institutions in Cameroon. We had only state institutions or state universities. And based on our development map, we did not make it because there were limitations in state universities. And when the private universities came in, they complemented the gaps in whatever courses. The state universities were more knowledge oriented. The private universities came up with quality education that was more professionally oriented. And you can measure the success of or the contribution of private universities based on the job market. The private universities came in to size up quality education that was meeting up the demands from enterprise. And so you cannot expect that because standardization had to come from state universities, what they did not offer, they cannot make what they were not offering. Of course, they cannot mentor well what they were not offering. So they need to be a neutral board. Somebody talked here on this platform about the GCE board, and which I want to connect with the GCE board based on the validation and the standardization of courses that are done in secondary and high schools. The GCE board is not running an institution. But mentorship, they are running an institution, and so they, no matter whatever validation they have to do, it falls short of, some kind of value added, but they are in competition at the same time. So you can understand, if you want to size up his outing, you will understand that he is not just talking about a mentor who is the University of Boya, but he's talking about a competitor who wants to measure up better than him, even in areas that they are not.
And he feels that they cannot equate with.
That they not equate with. So you understand, the GCA board is quite a different ballgame. The GCA board do not have schools. The GCA board validates standardization of what we do in secondary school and in high school. The mentorship of public universities to private universities is a competitor measuring another competitor. And so it falls short of standardization, but also competitive.
Okay.
Which already it can mar the standardization process of what private universities are doing.
Okay, let me just read something. Then you will understand what I'm trying to talk and what he's saying about problems or maybe instigation from the university. This is a disclaimer from Professor Ernest Molua.
Yeah.
And we know he has been there in the University of Boya.
Yeah.
If I understand, he should be in the University of
Boya. DVCIs.
Now. He says, disclaimer, there is a purported write-up making rounds in the media attributed to my person on the ICT University and its mentor university saga. I wish to inform the public that I have nothing to do with such a write-up. Angels of doom with diabolic intentions who may have destroyed their managerial capacity and exhibit lack of acumen to address basic administrative matters should desist from linking my person with such callousness. We pray and hope that God grants wisdom to the different stakeholders, rise up to the challenge in executing the responsibilities conferred to them by the state. Professor Ernest Molua. So, what do you get from this?
Actually, Mr. Moderator, Prof. Molua is a wonderful guy. And when I saw that thing on social media, I was like, hey, come on, guy, you cannot be in this thing. And that's just him coming out with a disclaimer. I knew something like this was going to come. We are in a system where the Northwest and Southwest, in their peculiarity, when things like this come up, on the one hand, we have a gentleman from the Northwest who is a Prof. Barika. On the other hand, we have Professor Horace Ngomo from the Southwest.
After the maybe we'll just take a round.
Whether we like it or not, guys in the social media, angels of divisions are going to come in to help inflame the gap between the Northwest and the Southwest. These are just actions that move a long way to promote instability within communities. Does everything to undermine social cohesion. That's just what is happening with that write-up. Yes, between the Northwest and the South. I knew something like this was going to come. When I saw it, I was waiting. I was hoping that if actually this thing is not coming from him, I'll be hoping to see that disclaimer, which is what he has done, which is just perfect. And to move further, Mr. Moderator, I want to say that it is not about the University of Buea not being able to handle certain programs. It's not about an issue of competition. No, it's not an issue of competition. All over the world, the state is the guarantor of diplomas issued by the different universities, be they private or state. Everywhere in the world, look at it. Everywhere in the world. A common example in Cameroon, you will find Université de Montagne in the West region, which is doing a wonderful job. There is mentored by state university. If you move across our frontiers, you go across Cameroon. Let us go back. Let us not even go too far. Come back to Cameroon. Look at the Kali University Institute. We have Kali University Institute of Buea. The Kali University Institute of Bamenda. We have Kali University Institute of Central Africa.
Without outlets, we are just trying to...
Yes. We are just trying, without publicity, so to speak. But you know, their degrees and diplomas are guaranteed by the state of Rome, which is a state of its own, which is a country of its own. And the Kali University Institute of Central Africa, which is the mentor university of all these other Kali University institutes that you see around, has its accreditation from the University of Rome, which is a state-owned university. So, if I live here today and I go to Nigeria and I create a university, it can be mentored by the University of Buea, which is a state university of Cameroon. Was the state of Nigeria does its checks and balances and realize that, okay, it's a state institution, the diplomats from Nigeria will be guaranteed because the guarantor is the University of Buea. It's the same thing with the ICT University. It is not about a competition. No, it is not that.
Okay, we are against that. Let me just ask. We have a situation now that, let me just deviate a bit. We have started seeing some universities here, private university, linking with university abroad, especially in Nigeria, to like mentor their schools. is it like they are not very satisfied with the state universities we have here?
No, that's not the case. Just like my co-panelist was saying, Mr. Kishi was saying, that you look at certain programs that you want to offer.
Yeah.
Like he mentioned about quality education. Quality education was not brought by state universities in this country. The copyright owner of quality education, without no publicity, is our own brother. Yes, Dr. Abuno Are. That is the guy who brought quality education. And those are the guys who came with the vision of transforming University of Buea into an ICT university. They intended to have a college. And the vision was about quality education. Now, if you want to open a school and you think that what you want to offer within the state of Cameroon, just as I was saying earlier, they are not offering that. Because once your student leaves and go out to the world, and it becomes like, hey, University of Buea is mentoring these guys when they are not offering this, it becomes a problem. So they start looking for partnership out of the country because it's only a state. And if you have a university, let's say in India, we've seen others going to India, we've seen a lot of them going to India, we've seen others going to Nigeria just next door. And you realize that the state of Nigeria has already validated degrees that are coming from this school because that institution in Nigeria has a guarantor in a state university in Nigeria. You can align with that same university knowing that the same degrees will be backed by the state of Nigeria, which is just perfect.
Okay, before we start concluding, let me just ask this question. We were not here the other time. With this situation that we have very few opportunities for those to do their PhD in state university, we have about 60 places in each university. And we have started seeing, some say that it is high time to do PhD in Cameroon. We will start having bribery and corruption, because it will be limited to a few people start bribing, then before paying for doing the PhD. And so it will start making Cameroonians, young Cameroonians, to leave, go abroad, maybe to neighboring countries to do their PhD.
I am one of those persons who said, hey, come on guys, we cannot be having PhD holders who move in the streets and begging for jobs from the government. When you are PhD, I mean, a doctor of philosophy, it means in every field that you've chosen, in that chosen field, you are at the apex.
You should create jobs.
You should be able to create jobs. If you are not even creating jobs, you should be able to use the knowledge you've made to make money and sustain yourself and your family. But once we have PhD holders who are moving into the streets, who are expecting the state of Cameroon to give them employment, that's sad. It speaks volume about what we are offering out there in terms of education.
Are you aligning with what Professor Mbarika just said, that the mentorship in our educational system?
No, it's not about the mentorship in our educational system. The mentorship is perfect. It's very, very perfect. If you look at state universities...
They shouldn't find PhD holders roaming the streets.
No, it is not about mentorship. It is what we are offering.
Okay.
And who are those PhD holders, again, who are leading our universities? The individuals themselves. Your PhD, how did you get it? Did you do that research? Because you must know about research. The basic about research is that you look at the problem in your community, you go out there, and you look for possible solutions which you bring. That should be the base of your thesis. And you can take that work and make money for yourself. That's why you see Prof. Barika, the way he was talking, he said, go to prof.google.com and you see what you've had there. If you are a PhD and you are not there, you are nowhere to be found. Those guys are making millions every day because us, we go there to do our research. We read their works there. And each time you click there,
you see
the guy, you see quality work. The guy whose work you're reading is making money. And so they don't have to get to the street and be going on strike that the government should give. See, sometimes, sorry, let me not go overboard, but those PhD holders like that, when we see them next time on the street, we should send these SC boys here to go pick them up and flog them.
Okay, Sinjo, we are heading the program. Your last way, what do you have to say?
Yes, quickly, let me just go in from what you see, the policy of the new PSC in Cameroon is a wrong policy. Yes, it's a wrong policy. I've been arguing it till now. Because when you look at the portion that has been given to each state university, and when you say when there is a sector that you have opened doors for that sector, that everybody can come in, private people can come in, like educational sector, and you move ahead for PhD. First, you have said that it is only the state who is supposed to run PhD programs.
Okay.
Yes, private institutions don't run PhD programs. You say it's the state. Secondly, you come back instead of you to make it open so that people can apply. You put a cut-off point that you want, so that let those who have not performed well can be dropped. You limit it that it is only the state who is supposed to recruit those who want to go in the PhD, and you limit it the numbers to 60. Now, and you said that the number are taken based on the needs of the institution. I have not refused, but have they considered that private institution, they also have needs?
Yes. I need to tell the number of needs of institution when you have.
No, because they are basing the needs of that institution on the state university. Let me say, okay, they go to a particular department. Yes, they go to a particular department, maybe in the management department, they see that there's a need for PhD. They say, okay, we need two. So, but now I'm asking the state, have they considered the needs of the private institution? Because a private institution needs people who have obtained PhD to teach in their institution.
There are thousands of them in the street.
They have
not. They have not been recruited by the private institutions.
Excuse me. If there are thousands on the street, right? The state should permanently suspend it for 25 years. Get those people from the street. Absorb first. You want to go by that?
That's what the state is doing. By limiting the number.
The state have opened this thing. Has the state absorbed the 60 PhD students on the street? Why is the University of Boya requesting 60? Requesting 60. Why are they requesting?
I think that would be a topic for another day.
So, I mean, it's a bullshit. that policy does not hold, Mr. Moderator. Yes, I have not given my last word. Yes, what I want to say here is that our highly learned and esteemed Professor Victor Barika should be able to, he should come down, move down to the University of Boya, and try to work out things. I like the letter that the Minister of Higher Education addressed to him. I let him apologize because he has made some utterances, which is not good. But I think the minister, they're also considering the situation of the students. So I want to appeal to Professor Victor Barika to consider the position or the future of the student. Let him not say he doesn't care if the university is shut down and so on. So what is about the students who have learned from that institution? So let him move down, meet Professor Horace so that they can reconcile matters, so that the future of those students who have paid millions France should not go in vain. Thank you.
Yeah, Kikishi, we are looking now at the last and maybe some solutions to this problem, because normally they are both intellectuals. There are times that we are also, or they are also human beings. They might flare, but surely they'll have to come back.
We'll start by saying that the private owns higher institutions of learning are not there to compete with state university, but they are there to complement the efforts of the government in educating Cameroonians.
I love that word,
and giving skills.
Yes.
And like I said, the traditional model or the curricula of our state universities were more knowledge oriented. Now we have private universities that are coming with skill oriented, and our modern the modern economy requires the skills, not knowledge. And I would like to say that if you want to challenge what I am saying, you go back to the job market, or you go back to our industries, you see them the majority of students who have acquired knowledge in state-owned universities end up going back to private universities to acquire skills that are marketable skills for the job market. And so we cannot play with actors like Professor Marika. We cannot play with actors of all these private. What I said here is simple. That Professor Marika is not voicing just his frustration, but it's the frustration of several and many other private proprietors of higher institution of learning. He has been given an assignment to play out the cat, and we must accept it, because, as I say it, if you go back to our industries today, you will find that there are most of those employees are from private universities where they have acquired skill. Now, if you want to measure his outing based on his verbosity and maybe you say arrogance or whatever, measure the issue. The other day I was talking on this platform about political frustration of youths designed to clamp down on youths who come in, especially those of the diaspora. The frustration they have in investment. Professor Marika is not only speaking what he is facing, but what other youths from Cameroon who are from the diaspora face when they come back home and invest. There is a political agenda that is not very good, that pains them so evil, and so his frustration is coming from the fact that he is disappointed with the way the partnership with the university, the mentorship of the University of Buea, not attacking or not trying to attack the personality of the vice chancellor, but rather it is maybe the vice chancellor is just a victim of circumstances, but it's a general phenomenon that cuts across most of our diaspora brothers and sisters who have come back to invest. They always have some reasons. There are some hurdles, some speed breaks, some lapses in paving way through in whatever business plan they do.
Just look at your camera. Your advice to the two institutions. What should they do?
Based on
few seconds. Maybe your strong advice to the two institutions. What should they do? Because the students are suffering.
Oh, the first thing is that I like the fact that the Minister of Higher Education has called Professor Marika to apologize. Means that he has recognition of the highest order. The recognition comes. And so I think that, like I said before, Professor Marika is from a very humble background. Don't size his frustration to somebody from, So I understand and I know that definitely a small brother, big brother relationship with the VC of UB will be addressed in the days ahead. I trust he will do that.
Of course, in the
and he has also believed his mom will be buried, led to rest tomorrow. Just a mother. I don't know how it intervenes in frustration.
Okay, our condolences to that. Before we react, the only significant achievement of real world impact I take away from the 65-page CV is the opening of the ICT University, which we are still waiting to see what the university's products have to offer, apart from getting them to PhDs, which is currently under contention. Okay, this one say, I have another worry with university institute offering programs that their mentor state university don't offer at all. When a student from this university institute applies for a program, let's say master's or PhD program abroad, and their credentials are being evaluated, the universities abroad consider these certificates as fake on the basis that the mentor does not offer those programs. How comes the mentee is running a program not offered by the mentor? In fact,
that is the cause of the frustration that you are seeing. They are saying that before they have their course outline, which the University of Boya or the mentor universities, they present their course outline to the university. And so, if their students find themselves in foreign universities, the University of Boya should, who is the mentor, should defend that no, those courses, as they validate their certification, it means that they should also tell,
they are defending certificate, not courses.
That is the big frustration that we are facing.
The university is defending certificate which they have signed.
Which that devalues his institution and expose him to a lot of negativities.
Let us your last word.
Yes, Mr. Moderator.
Yes.
I think there is no course that's being offered by the ICT University which is not being offered in the University of Boya. No, just give me one. No, let us not get to that.
No.
Let me just come. Let me come. No, brother. I'll just call the attention of our viewers.
All the programs that you be mentor. Sir,
can you allow me to talk, sir?
Let him talk.
Yes. The University of Boya has an Institute of Technology, has a college of technology.
Yes.
And on the basis of that Institute of Technology, that college of technology, the University of Boya has the capacity to mentor any ICT, Information and Communication Technology university. Look at the programs in the University of Boya. To enter the School of ICT, the School of Technology in University of Boya, you write an exam, sir. It's not étude de dossier. They don't study your file. You go through a competitive entrance exam. There's a higher teachers training college in Kumba, again, that trains persons to come out and train our children in general technical education. So, University of Boya has the capacity to mentor ICT university. And that's the reason why he himself, let me just come, my brother, that's why you see Prof. Barika chose the University of Boya. He did not choose, that's a very intelligent guy. If the University of Boya was not offering any of his programs, believe you me, he wouldn't have gone there. Never. Knowing who he is, knowing where he's coming from. We've seen St. Monica University without any publicity, mentoring university in Cameroon. Yes, St. Monica University of Hawaii mentored St. Monica University Institute of Cameroon without any publicity. So we are just trying to say, but however, what we are trying to say is that what is important here is the future of our country, is the future of our youth. So, Professor Horace, like Professor Barika, are both working to ensure that we have a better country tomorrow. And there is need for Professor Barika to go back and meet his elder brother and say, hey, gentlemen, I'm sorry, but you see, I was kind of like this, like that.
Yeah.
For the betterment of this country, especially for the youth.
For the betterment of the country. Thank you so very much for coming, Cynthia Armstrong.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. As usual, it is our pleasure to be part of the platform. Anytime you call, I will answer.
Of course, you'll be answering. Kiki says, thank you so very much for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Mango. Always a pleasure.
Of course, it should be a pleasure because we have no other country. Thank you so very much for accepting our invitation.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Moderator.
Dear viewers of Cross Views on Royal TV, we want to say that we had two topics there. You could see for yourself that this one topic took us 2 hours because there was just a lot to discuss and we could not even finish. Maybe we still have to carry on with the sub part of this topic for another time. We want to say that we will sincerely thank David for being behind the success of this program. I've been moderator Mwambo William. See you for another program
next time. Hey, Royal TV viewers, your voice matters, and now we want to hear it louder